Welcome back to the Explainer. On every big project, whether it's a rocket or a skyscraper, there's always a master plan. But what happens when things don't quite go according to that plan? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the one document designed to handle exactly that, the Non-Conformance Report, or as you'll hear it called, the NCR.
So let's just start right there. Think about it. In any complex project, you've got blueprints, you've got quality standards, you've got rules. But in the real world, what actually happens when a piece of work or a delivery of material just doesn't measure up?
Right. It's that moment we all kind of dread, when things go a little sideways. But this isn't necessarily a sign of failure. Honestly, it's an inevitable part of doing complex work. So the real question isn't if it'll happen, it's what are you going to do about it?
I mean, on any complicated job, little deviations from the plan aren't just a possibility. They're practically a guarantee. So the key isn't to just cross your fingers and hope for the best. The key is having a really solid professional system in place for when, not if, they happen.
And that brings us to the formal solution. It's called the Non-Conformance Report, the NCR. And I want to be clear, this is so much more than just extra paperwork. It's the official tool that turns a mistake or a deviation into a documented, manageable, and most importantly, a solvable event.
Okay, so let's get into what it actually is. An NCR isn't some sticky note or a quick email. Nope, it is a formal document. It's a core part of a project's quality management system. And its entire job is to officially capture any single time that something, anything, strays from the required standard.
So, you might be thinking, why all the formality? Well, it's because an NCR does way more than just point out a problem. It creates a paper trail, right? Evidence. This makes the issue impossible to just sweep under the rug. It forces the team to investigate and find the root cause, not just slap on a quick fix. And you know what? In the long run, that's what builds trust with the client and protects the integrity of the whole project.
And this whole process, it isn't just some company's good idea. It's actually a global industry standard. The core principles of an NCR are baked right into huge quality management systems like ISO 9001. That gives it some serious professional weight.
All right, so let's get practical. What does the life of an NCR actually look like? We're going to follow its entire journey, step by step, from the second an issue is spotted all the way through to its final resolution.
You can see it follows this really clear, logical path. It all starts with someone identifying the problem and recording it. Then it moves into assessing the damage, taking action, and then, super important, verifying the fix and learning from the whole thing. Let's walk through it. So it all kicks off when someone on the team, it could be an engineer, a supervisor, anyone really, spots something that just isn't right. The very first move is to formally write it down on an NCR form. You've got to be specific, a clear description, the exact location, and which plan or spec it's supposed to follow. Okay, once it's officially on the books, it needs to be assessed. And this part is not about pointing fingers or placing blame. It's all about understanding the consequences. How serious is this really? What else could this problem affect down the line? And here's where it gets really crucial, because not all problems are created equal. The team immediately has to categorize the severity. Is it minor, something that has a pretty small effect? Is it major, where it could actually hit the budget or the schedule or even safety? Or is it critical, something that could cause a total system failure? Classifying it like this is so important because it dictates the urgency and the entire response. But look, fixing this symptom is only half the job. The real goal here is to make sure this never, ever happens again. And that's where root cause analysis comes in. The team has to play detective and dig deeper. Why did this happen? Was it a breakdown in the process? Was it faulty materials? Maybe an issue with the documentation or training? You have to get to the source to truly solve it. So, once you understand the why, you can finally figure out the how. A very specific actionable plan gets created to fix the issue. There's no ambiguity here. It gets assigned to someone with a clear responsibility and a firm deadline.
Now, listen up, because this next point is absolutely critical. There is a huge difference between doing the fix and proving the fix actually worked. The corrective action, that's the physical work. The repair, the rework, the replacement. But verification, That's the proof. It's the new inspection report, the new test data that shows without a doubt that the problem is solved and everything is back in compliance.
And that brings us to the final steps, where we close the loop. Once that fix is officially verified, the NCR can be signed off and closed out. But the story's not over. The most valuable part is sharing what you learned across the entire project team. That's how you get better for next time.
So that's the process in a nutshell. But I really want to drive this home. An NCR is so much more than just a piece of paper. When it's used the right way, it's an incredibly powerful tool that can literally transform how a team operates.
One of our sources just put it so perfectly, and this really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. An NCR isn't about blaming people for what went wrong in the past. It's a proactive tool for making sure you get it right in the future.
Honestly, here's probably the best way to think about it all. The NCR process is like a project's immune system. Seriously, it identifies a threat to the project's health, it neutralizes it with a targeted response, and then it creates a memory, an antibody, so the entire project gets stronger and smarter for the future.
So as we wrap this up, let me leave you with this one question. Just forget about construction or manufacturing for a second. How can this powerful cycle, this loop of identifying, correcting, and most importantly, learning, how can you apply that to what you do every single day?